Good morning, everybody. This is Linda from the Crafting Depot, and today we're going to make these really adorable, I'm not even sure what you'll call them, but you can do two things with them. You can write, there's room for writing, and it's a two-pocket, I guess, writing folder we'll call it. But how cute are these to put in your journal? So, let's put these to the side, and let me show you how I did this. So I have some scrap paper, 12 by 12, and I divided these. I put them on my scoring board, which you don't need, but I am using a scoring board. So what I did, and you can make these any size. This is not the size that it has to be. It can be, this is like 4 by 12. Well, this one's even a little bit smaller because I probably had to score it after, trim it after the wood. So this one happens to be 3.5. This one is 4, a little bit over 4. So it doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't matter. So I have some pretty paper. We're going to do this one. And what I did was I divided it into 3. So I scored it on the 4 and the 8. And after I cut them, they'll probably be a little bit shorter. So like I said, it doesn't matter, but they are 12 inches long. So watch me do this. And you can use anything to press it down. And then what I did was I just cut it along that line, or that crease rather, along the crease. And what you can do, let me show you another trick you can do. Okay, so if you don't have a scoring board, you can just measure how wide you want it, put a little pencil mark, and then take a ruler and just bend the paper over like that, then fold it over and cut it. So this one, you know what I'm going to do this time? I'm just going to use my ruler to cut this. Let me move this in. And just trim this. Okay, that didn't go good. There we go. And then we have 2 pieces. 2 more pieces. Okay, so I'll be making several of these, but let's do one. So the other thing you're going to need is some coffee dyed paper if you choose to put it inside, and some paper to make the pockets, as well as glue. Okay. So the next thing you want to do is create the fold. So you can see I folded it up, not all the way, and then when I folded the top, I left room up here to fold that over. So let's create that. So I see that I have writing on this, so I want to turn it so that when I turn the writing, turn it up, the writing is there. See, you know, that you can see it, it's readable. Did that make sense? Okay, so then I'm going to fold it there, and then I'm going to leave a little space. You see that? I didn't fold it exactly over, so I'm going to leave a little space there. And now I have my fold, and I'm going to just use the back of my scissor Okay, that's that. Now you're going to open it up. And the next thing I did, since my paper is very bright white on one side, I took my dauber and I just used some ink. This one happens to be ground espresso, but you can use any color you want. And let me get my paper bag. What I did was I just went around the edges and just gave it a little bit of a distressing, because the rest of it you're not going to see when we cover it. Okay, and then you can do this either now or later. Distress the sides. Start now. Actually, it might even be better to do it later, because if you have to trim it, you'll just go over it anyway. When I say if you have to trim it, meaning like if your pieces are not straight, when you put it all together. Okay. Done. Well, we'll do the back. And we have what I would call like a wallet. The wallet. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to make the pockets. So I used a half circle punch. Not a half circle punch, a circle punch, and I only used half of it. So let's get our paper. Where did I put it? Okay, so I have some brown cardstock, and you don't need cardstock, and I have this extra paper that I cut away from something else. So what I'm going to do, again, is take out my scoreboard. And I'm going to cut a strip 4 inches to match the width of the wallet. I'm going to call it a wallet. I'm not sure what the name of that is. And I'm going to bend it over. And I'm just going to trim it off. Just trim the edge. Okay, now I got one side of it. And then I'm going to measure. Okay, so I got this side, and now I want to make it. What I did was I measured it. Okay, so that's okay. So we're gonna have to go this way because I messed up. Okay, so now I have a piece that I'm going to turn over. I'm going to cut it like this. Okay, so now we have the first pocket. And I'm going to take my circle punch. This is a 1.5 circle punch, but you don't need a circle punch. You can either cut it yourself with scissors or make a V. And what I do is I save these little bits for something later. And then I'm going to use this glue stick. It's by Scotch. It's permanent glue stick. And we'll put the bag underneath. So we're just going to glue no, actually not 3 sides. I did that. I made a mistake. 1, 2 sides. Well, actually, no, that's not true either. We're going to do 3 sides. My mistake. 3 sides, because this one's going all the way to the bottom. I made one that it didn't go all the way to the bottom, so I only glued 2 sides. And I'll explain later why I did that. So this one goes all the way to the bottom of that wallet. Okay, here we go. I dropped it. Okay, so this goes to the bottom. Now let's say you cut a piece and it's short. It comes up to here. You'll understand why later. You're going to have another wallet that goes over it. So it doesn't necessarily have to go to the bottom, but that's why you don't want to glue the bottom, so that if you want your piece to go all the way down to the next one, to the bottom, then it'll reach. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to cut another piece. And this time I'm just going to turn it over and hope that I do a good job cutting. It's not always easy to cut this. I'm just gonna, let me see, right? Yeah, good. Sometimes I don't get a straight line, as you can see. Okay, so now I cut 2 pieces, and this is the bottom piece, or the top piece that's gonna go reach the bottom. Not the bottom piece, the top piece. Okay, here we go. And then that goes over. Now do you understand? So let's say this piece, when the brown piece went up to here, you would not glue here. So that if you put a piece, another tag in, it could go all the way to the bottom. Let's say your tag was this long. I hope that makes sense. And what I should have done, and I didn't do, was, and I'll just do this one, I should have, this is optional. If you want this, you will distress it, but that's optional. So now this one, because I didn't distress it, I'm going to try and see if I can figure out how to do this. I guess it's good to see people make mistakes. Okay, there we go. Let me see if I can. Okay. And then I'll finish the rest once I get this on. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to glue 3 sides. Put the glue, your glue stick here. Cover your glue stick because they dry up. And then you're going to put your pocket there. Okay, the next thing you want to do is get some coffee dyed paper, and it's super easy to dye paper. Just get a pot of water, add some, let me see, instant coffee, a tablespoon, mix it up, get yourself a big pan, stick your paper in, soak it, put it on a towel, let it dry off a little bit, you know, to get the extra water. Preheat your oven to 350, get a nice big pan, and stick 1 sheet in at a time and let it dry off. Just for maybe like a minute or 2 on each side. You got to stand right by the oven and watch everything so you don't start a fire. That's huge. Okay, so the next thing you need is some coffee dyed paper. So for this, I took out 2 sheets. 2 sheets, and that'll give you 8 pieces of writing space, 8 pages to write on. So then what I did was I brought it up to the wallet. Oh, I forgot to do something else. This is what I forgot. Very important. Okay, so I have some pages And what I'm going to do, what I did on the other one, it's not too late. You can see this came from a very vintage old cookbook, and they were cooking turtles. So I took out a piece of that, and I am being sarcastic now. I used my own measurement here. Very technical. This is from the dollar store. I used a dollar store book on this one right now for demonstration. Okay, so this, I just tear it. And when it looks, you know, grungy like this, the better. And then I just lined it up here. Line it up on this side. Right? Line it up, fold the bottom down, and then just rip away. Just rip that. Am I? Yes, I am recording. Rip this away. Okay, then the next thing you want to do is just distress it. Just gives it a better look. Okay, there you go. So now we distressed it. You can do that if you want. Just gives it an older look. What happened here? Lights. Come on. Come on. Okay, so then get rid of my scraps. Throw those out. Take my bag again. It's so easy to make a mess, and then you can't find anything, and that really drives me nuts. Last night I'm cleaning up the room, the craft room, and I'm looking for my scissors everywhere. Everything was clean. And I said, this is crazy. I can't, I'm standing, I'm looking, nowhere could I find it. And then I remembered I did some jewelry work on the paper clips, and so I left my scissors in the box with all the jewelry. Okay, so now we folded it. Let's just do this, the crease. So then I was like, where could those scissors possibly be? This is nuts. This is crazy. I'm going to do the sides. Remember, I didn't do that. Okay, so now we got that. And it looks great so far. So the next thing you want to do is, now let's look, where did I put the paper? Okay, paper, where are you? I just put it down. Where did I put it? Okay, 1 second. That's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to be neat, and I had it right here, but then I put the bag there and I lost the paper. Okay, so this is really easy to coffee dye paper. It's time consuming, it's messy, but it's doable. Okay, so then what I did is I took the paper, right, 8 by 11 computer sheet paper, not expensive, folded it in half, and now I bring it over to my wallet. I'm going to call this a wallet, with 2-pocket wallet. Okay, and then I folded it over like that, and now I have my crease. So you can either use scissors or you can use a ruler. I got this on Amazon for like $5. They sent me 4 of them, I think. 3 or 4. And you just line it up. Okay, you know what, Linda? Get this straight. Let's do this right. Okay, let's make sure I got my, yeah, there we go. Okay, what's really cool about this particular knife is that it's got different blades in here, and all you do is can you see that? You snap off very carefully with pliers. Move your eyes to the side and you can get a new fresh blade. Okay, and always retract your blade, it's important. You can get hurt. Okay, so now that fits in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So I have this needle, and if you want to know what kind of needle is, it's an all-purpose needle. All-purpose needle. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and it came with a bunch of needles that I put into this piece of cotton, and I leave it in the in this little expensive little box doohickey thing. And that's where I leave my needles. So what I'm going to do is, now you don't need an awl or a hole punch because it's pretty thin. So I start on the inside and I look for the middle and I punch it through. You line it up with your crease and it goes through pretty easily. So out the top, and then I want to go back in somewhere here. Punch it through. Okay, so now we're through that side. Then I want to go to the left and punch, equally like I did on the other side. So now you got your 3 holes. So I went in the middle, out the right, then over to the left, and now we're going to go back into the middle. Pretty simple. Okay, so now both threads are on the same side, but I want one thread on this side. And let me see. I'm try and be a little frugal with my thread. I don't need to waste it all. Okay. Because we're going to just throw it out anyway. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to trim the thread. Take your needle off. Put your needle away so you don't lose it. Very important. Put it back in the box or wherever you store it. Now look, your thread is on either side of that middle thread. And then you're going to pull tight and tie it. Very simple. And then you're going to tie it again. Except now you're going to go, I always mess this up. Here we go. Tie it again. 2 ties, 2 knots. Okay, and then just trim it off. And another thing I forgot to do was to ink the sides of the paper, but you know what? That's optional too. So now you have it. The next thing I did was I took these, and I don't know if you want to see this, but I'll try to show you. It's very time consuming. Let me look in my bead box. Okay, so I have this little gold bead. Let's see how this is going to work out. And I take this pin, looks like a straight pin, and I put the bead through. Then I put this bead through. This came out of a necklace that I got years ago at a garage sale. And I wish it had like gold connected little things. Otherwise I would just pull it off and connect it. I know how to do that, but to save a little bit of time, I'm just going to do this. So we're going to, and this is not about beading, this is just about putting a couple of beads on a safety pin. So now this is kind of long, so I'm going to cut off maybe about that much. And I use these little pliers. Get rid of that. And then I'm going to take this little tool, see how it's different, and I'm going to wrap it around. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to wrap it around and make like a, that didn't come out good. Okay. Sometimes you gotta fool with it, especially if you don't do this every day. When you do it every day, it comes out much easier. Okay, so now you have your little bead, and then I took these paper clips. I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna let it hang off of the larger side of the bead, and then put it in like that. And then let's get something to decorate this with. Okay, so going through my stash, I decided to get a piece of music sheet, and I'm going to tear this and just give it like a little tear over here, and we're going to create just a little back drop thing right around there. And then what I'm going to do is distress it. Same ink, the ground coffee. I seem to favor this one. I have a bunch of others, all very colorful. Just distress that. Okay, that's going to go on the front as our background. Let's get our sheet, and I'm going to put, just going to put some glue stick on this. The Scotch permanent glue stick. Works pretty good. You can use any glue you want. All right, and then I'm going to put that on. Okay, so that's our background, and then I was thinking maybe just add a little bit of texture. So now in this case, I'm going to get, where are you? I'm going to use the Fabrifix, but I put it in the Sugar Bell because it's just easier to squeeze. And then I'm going to put a little, turn it over. I keep a pin in it. I tried another way, but I like this better. It doesn't seem to get clogged up. Then I had to open the whole thing up, declog it, and I came across this pin that I probably have for over 30 years, so it works. Okay. Then I'm just going to stick it on. It's very messy. You might want to have a napkin around, and of course I don't have one, so I'm just going to do one of these things and hope I can get it off. Then I was thinking about putting this and this, but that might be too much. I think I'm going to just put the butterfly. Okay, so now I have to figure out where did I put, okay, put the dauber back, put the glue, put the ink back, and try to figure out where you put, and I'm trying to keep everything neat and clean. That's the trick. Oh, put your pin back onto your glue. Put your glue away, Linda. And I really like this pair of scissors. Hold on one second. I found them. I had put them in the drawer. So you have to be, one of the things of crafting, once you start this, is losing stuff. And I really hate that. And I actually didn't even need it. Okay, so just to make sure that this stays on, I'm going to put a little glue. Now, I was going to put him here, but I'm going to put him up here, and he's flying. She's flying away. Okay. There we go. And there we have it. So let's look back at what we've done. And you can see I'm mass making. So here is our little wallet, 2-pocket wallet with a altered paper clip that has beads on it. It opens up so you can write, you can journal in here, and you can leave tags and things in your pockets. I mean, that is adorable. So here we go. All different types. Some are decorated, some are not. They still need to be decorated. But how cute are these? You can use buttons. Came out really nice, right? So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. There's lots